Okay, so let's talk about this Mario movie because wow. Okay, so I saw this film with some of my friends on Saturday, the 8th of April, and the day before I saw the film, on Friday, the 7th of April, I saw the original 1993 Mario movie, the realistic one, the one with Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo, and, the very bad one. So I can see the differences and how much the Mario movie has improved back then and to now. And boy, to put it lightly, there are two completely different films in almost every single way possible. And I'm not complaining about that at all, so yeah. Before we start, I have to warn you that there are lots of spoilers in this film because I'm going to go into lots of detail over what happened in this film. So if you haven't seen the film already and do not want to know what happens in this film, then skip to this timestamp of the video. So yeah, this is your last warning because there's lots of spoilers in this video. Okay, so I think everybody that doesn't want the movie to be spoiled are now gone, so let's get into this review. Okay, so the first scene of this movie is what we've seen for the first scene of the first trailer, which, we've all seen it before. Bowser attacks the penguin guys, defeats them, then grabs the Power Star. And we learn during the film that Bowser wants the star because he has a crush on Princess Peach and wants to marry her and take over the world and rule the Power Stars together. And he views the Power Star as a way to get Peach to marry him due to the fact how the Power Star gives him a lot of power. And so yeah, it kind of works like blackmail. Bowser wants to marry Peach, and if Peach refuses to marry him, then he will use the Power Star to destroy the Mushroom Kingdom. For me, I think this is a huge reference to Super Mario Odyssey, where Bowser tries to marry Peach. I'm gonna speak a bit more about this later on in the review, but for now, just keep that in mind, okay? So the main motive for Bowser here is that he wants to use the Power Star as a way to force Peach to marry him. So after the penguin scene, we cut straight into the Mario brothers, and they are plumbers, and we see their commercial about their new plumbing business. And what I like about this advert is that we can hear Mario's normal Charles Martinet voice in the games, which I found to be a really cool Easter egg. And when Mario and Luigi talk about the commercial, Mario said that he purposely put on that accent for the film, which I really, really liked. When this film was first being advertised, people were very skeptical about Mario being voiced by Chris Pratt, the same person that voices Emmett from the Lego Movie. But, I actually think that Chris Pratt did a very good job at voice acting Mario. You'll get used to his voice very easily. And by the end of the film, it kind of feels very natural for Mario to have that kind of voice. And you can tell that the cast had a lot of fun voicing the characters, and they put a lot into voice acting these characters. They really took them to life. I mean, especially Jack Black voice acting Bowser, like he totally stole the show at multiple occasions. There's an awful lot of references in this Mario movie. And honestly, I did expect there to be a lot of references and Easter eggs, and I love them all. It just makes it that much more fun to watch. Aside from the obvious references, like all the Mario power-ups, which included the Super Mushroom, the Ice Flower, the Fire Flower, the Starman, the Cat Suit, the Tanuki Suit, and even the Mini Shroom, there's also a lot of other smaller references in the film which I loved as well. So after the Mario Bros commercial, we meet Spike. Now, this is one of the only two scenes that reminded me a lot of the original 1993 film, because Spike in this film does look like a lot like Spike in the original 1993 Mario film. Also, if you look at Spike's cap, it has a Wrecking Crew label on it. And also Luigi's ringtone on his phone has a Nintendo GameCube startup sound effect on it. When Mario and Luigi decide to fix a plumbing problem in Brooklyn, we see that the mayor of the city is talking about the problem, and she looked an awful lot like Pauline from Super Mario Odyssey. When Mario entered the Mushroom Kingdom and went into Toad Town, which is the capital city of the Mushroom Kingdom, where Peach's castle is, on one of the places had a Super Mario Odyssey Crazy Cap store, which is obviously a reference to the Super Mario Odyssey Crazy Cap store where you can buy the different outfits in that game. And there's also a lot of clear pipe references from Super Mario 3D World in the Toad Town as well. During the wedding of Bowser and Peach wear the exact same wedding outfit as they do in Super Mario Odyssey. Bowser even has a top hat and a bouquet of flowers with the piranha plants and the dash flowers exactly just like in Super Mario Odyssey. And the final battle between Mario, Luigi and Bowser, they grab him by the tail and swing him just like in Super Mario 64. Now, all of these references were great, and I must say, I think Super Mario Odyssey was the game that was referenced the most out of any other games in this film. However, none of these references I loved more than the reference of what they did in the Mario Kart franchise. Now, if you've been subscribed to me for a long time, you know that I love the Mario Kart franchise. And honestly, I think I like the Mario Kart franchise more than the normal Mario Brothers franchise. So I was super happy with all the different Mario Kart references in this game. I loved when Mario, Toad and Peach were choosing the kart, and I loved how they were doing it in the exact same styles as you would in Mario Kart 7 and Mario Kart 8, where you get to choose the vehicle body, the wheels and the glider. It even has the Mario Kart 8 vehicle select theme playing in the background. And I also love how the karts had a glider and anti-gravity mechanics for Mario Kart 7 and Mario Kart 8 respectively as well. I also loved every second where they drive on Rainbow Road. When they drive on the road, you can hear the SNES Rainbow Road theme in the background, and I love how the Koopas were using bullet bills to attack Mario, Peach, Toad and the Donkey Kong army. And I love how the Mario army were attacking back at the Koopas using green shells and banana peels like they were doing in the normal Mario Kart games. Now let's talk about my favourite part of the whole film, the blue shell. During the Rainbow Road scene, Mario was fighting against a blue Koopa Trooper that seemed to be like a boss or an army or commander of the whole army of Koopa Troopers that they were fighting on Rainbow Road, and they were trying to destroy the kart that Mario and Donkey Kong were racing on, and that alone was a really good fight. But when it looked like that Mario and Donkey Kong have finally defeated the blue Koopa, the Koopa rose up again and then he turns into the blue shell for Mario Kart and flies into Mario and Donkey Kong's car and absolutely destroys it. That was so clever. It was such a clever way, an awesome way to include the blue shell in the movie. Like, what a very clever Easter egg. Like, everybody in the cinema was just laughing out of sheer delight when the blue shell bit came. It was so good. Definitely my favourite scene in the whole film. Don't even get me started on the music. The music was so well done. As of what I can remember, the music in the game had references from Super Mario Bros. Overworld theme, the Underground theme, the Super Mario Bros. Airship theme, in the first scene where Bowser attacks the penguins. That's what, 20 seconds into the film, we've already got our first Easter egg. And also the Super Mario World Overworld and Athletic theme can be heard, as well as the Starman theme. It's not just the Mario Bros music, there's also lots of other like 80s and old music, especially like Take On Me from a-ha, one of my favourite songs of all time. So that was a really good joy to listen to as well. However, one of my favourite musical scenes, which was very cleverly implemented, was the scene where when we first get introduced to Bowser's castle, where Bowser explains his plans to marry Peach with the Koopas. But before that scene, when the camera was sort of flying over Bowser's airship and the Koopas were having like a rock band in the concert and they were singing the Bowser's Fury theme. And again, that was a really awesome and clever way to reference Bowser's Fury. And I was not expecting Bowser's Fury of all games to be referenced, but it was. And it was amazing. Also, the scene where Mario first enters the Mushroom Kingdom and he meets Captain Toad for the first time, we can hear the Captain Toad Treasure Tracker theme as well. I found that to be so charming, honestly, listening to the Captain Toad Treasure Tracker theme. I don't know, there's just something about the theme, it's so charming, it's so adorable, and I just loved it. Overall, the music is such a joy to listen to. And probably the final thing I really liked about this film is that the storyline is a little bit different to the usual Mario formula. I mean, Peach doesn't get kidnapped at all in this movie. She acts like a warrior in this film, which is such a fresh take on the Mario formula. There were even times where Peach was hand-on-hand fighting Bowser, and she acted like a proper princess and a proper ruler and leader and protector of her kingdom, and I really liked that. Sometimes I even felt that Peach didn't even need Mario's help and she could have just fought Bowser on her own. And especially during the wedding scene, she pretty much fought Bowser on her own and actually won the battle with quite little help from Mario, and she was able to use all the power-ups and all that stuff. I just felt that Peach was a really well-handled character, and honestly, she's actually one of the best characters in the whole film, honestly. Now, of course, just like every film, not every film is perfect, and there are a couple of things I don't like, but bear in mind, what I'm about to explain about the things I don't like are nitpicks more than anything. So please don't take this too seriously. Take this with a grain of salt. These are just very minor nitpicks. And even though I didn't particularly like it, it doesn't mean that it's bad. It just wasn't really for me, or it kind of confused me a little bit. So one thing I don't like about this film is that we were introduced to Mario's family, and they just didn't really do that much with them. They kind of acted like the people that just disapproved of Mario and Luigi's decision to become plumbers and start their own business. And we don't really see them again until the end of the movie, where they're all like, oh Mario, we loved you and we're sorry we ever doubted you, you're amazing, you know, stuff like that. I just felt that was very cliche, and I don't really know why they even bothered to add them in. I think it just would have worked a little bit better if it was just Mario and Luigi living by themselves like they did in the 1993 movie. I just don't really know what they were doing there. I mean, obviously it was nice to see Mario and Luigi, the fact that they have a family, but I just didn't really know why they felt the need to add them in. I mean, I don't know, maybe if there's a sequel that might include them in then, but for now, I just didn't really feel like they didn't really do anything other than act like the cliche disapproving family at the start of the film, only to act as if they were proud of Mario all along at the end of the film. I don't know. It's, again, a bit of a nitpick, and again, they might do something really good with them in the sequel, but for now, I just felt like, I just didn't really care about Mario's family, you know. Okay, so, I can't believe I'm about to say this, so get ready to hear this, because you're not ready to hear this. Quite frankly, not even I'm ready to hear what I'm about to say, but this is the only, and I mean the only, thing that the original 1993 Mario movie did better than this film. I can't believe I just said that. I feel like I need a shower now. But anyway, and the one thing that I think the original Mario film did better was the fact how the protagonists, Mario and Luigi, obviously entered into the fictional world. In the original film, Daisy got kidnapped by Iggy and Spike, and they took Daisy to the portal to the fictional world, being Dino Hatton, and Mario and Luigi were trying to rescue her and end up following her into that world. I thought that was quite okay, it wasn't a brilliant way to introduce them into a fictional world, but I think it was a lot better than how they did it in this film. This film kind of just felt a bit too convenient. I mean, they were trying to fix the Brooklyn pipe, then they get washed away to the underground sewers. I mean, they just stumble upon a green pipe because Mario and Luigi get curious enough to enter into the green pipe and into the Mushroom Kingdom. I just felt that was just a bit convenient and kind of lazy. And I think that the original Mario movie did it a lot better. The original Mario film, it didn't feel convenient, it didn't really feel lazy, it just felt a little bit more natural and a bit more of a realistic, obviously with respect to the universe of course, but a bit more of a realistic way of how to enter from the real world to the fictional world. So yeah, I definitely think the original film did that part better, but that was it. That's the only thing that the original film did better, okay? That felt so weird saying that, and I probably might shower after this because I can't believe those words just came out my mouth. But yeah, the only thing the original film did better was how they got introduced to the Mushroom Kingdom. Everything else the new film does heaps and heaps better, okay? So yeah. Okay, so this is a bit of a nitpick. So again, please don't take this too seriously, but I feel like that they got the Donkey Kong family tree wrong in this film. Again, I'm not super sure since I'm not really a big fan of Donkey Kong, so I don't really know that much about Donkey Kong. But in this film, Donkey Kong is Cranky Kong's son. But I thought that Donkey Kong was Cranky Kong's grandson, because I thought that Donkey Kong Jr. was Donkey Kong's son, and then Donkey Kong was Donkey Kong Jr.'s son. That's how I thought it went. But according to this film, apparently it's sort of implying that Donkey Kong Jr. is Donkey Kong. Which, okay, again, I don't know, I might be wrong and the film might have got it right, but it just kind of confused me a little bit. And also what they did with Diddy and Dixie Kong, like, they weren't in this film at all. I mean, they were in the film, but I felt like they could have done a lot more. Again, I thought Diddy Kong was Donkey Kong's son. But apparently in this film, Diddy Kong was sort of acting like Donkey Kong's like #1 fan, sort of like. So I don't know. Again, massive nitpick. Okay, so don't take this too seriously. But I know I might be wrong. Okay, because I don't really know that much about Donkey Kong, but it just confused me a little bit. The film was so funny at times. Like, I love every second of the montage where Peach was training Mario. That was fantastic. And the scene where Mario was fighting Donkey Kong, that was so funny as well. And by far the funniest scene, and the whole cinema was laughing their heads off in this scene, was when Bowser was playing the piano and singing about her love for Princess Peach. Like, not only did I find the fact that Bowser was even playing the piano, I mean, he's got really big fingers and really big claws. Like, how on earth did the claws not absolutely like wreck the piano keys or something? I just found that so funny. But that wasn't even the funny part. The funny part is that when he was playing the piano, it sounded like he was in like sort of like his own little world or like the zone, which sort of reminded me of the scene from the Pixar film Soul, where the main character was playing the piano and he was really into it and he was like in its own little world and was really in the zone. But yeah. But of course, the scene where everybody laughed at was when Kamek interrupted him in the middle of the song. And Bowser was so embarrassed and so angry that Kamek pretty much walked in on him. It's like as if you're doing something cringy on your own and then your parents just walked in on you. It's sort of like that sort of feeling, and the whole cinema just laughed their heads off at that bit because that was just so funny. Okay, so now that the people that want to avoid the spoilers are back, let me tell you about the verdict of this film. And don't worry, spoiler-free people, this part has no spoilers in it, okay? We've done all the bit with the spoilers, so now this bit is for no spoilers. So now, here's the £1 million question. Do I like this film? The short answer is, of course. Of course I love this film. This film's amazing. How can you even ask that question? Of course, no, it wasn't perfect. No film is, but this film is epic. The film is a gigantic love letter from Nintendo, and a lot of love and care was put into this film, and it shows. The animation was absolutely fantastic, although they do look a little bit weird, especially Mario and Luigi. I kind of can't help but think that the characters look a lot like Fix-It Felix Jr. from Wreck-It Ralph. But anyway, aside from that, you'll have a great time with this film. And if you love Mario, I cannot recommend this film enough. It's simply a must-see film. In fact, even if you don't like Mario, I'll still recommend it because it's a fun film to watch. And you'll love it. It's honestly one of the best films I have ever seen. Now, obviously, I'm saying this because I'm a Mario fan, and obviously I'm going to say something like that, but even from an unbiased point of view, it still is one of the best films I've ever seen because it's so much fun to watch. And do not compare this film with the 1993 film because they're different films. Like, they're totally different films. Of course, there are some overlapping bits, like how they entered the Mushroom Kingdom and the fact that there were plumbers and all that stuff. There are some overlapping areas, but on the whole, they are two completely different films. And it's heaps and bounds better than the 1993 film. This film is fantastic. You must see this film as soon as possible. Seriously, it's worth every single penny and it's so fun to watch. In fact, as soon as the film ended, I wanted to see the film again. I just wanted to just have a remote with the rewind button and just rewind the whole film and just watch it again. It was so good. So much fun to watch. This film is amazing. I rate the Mario movie a 9.5 out of 10.